Hey guys, this is the Transformer Gundam, and today I'll be looking at the absolutely massive leader class Grimlock. So yeah, let's get straight into this. So I know it's been a little bit since I've done a Transformers review, but I am super glad to be taking a look at this absolute beast of a figure. This is my first studio series, and man, what an introduction to this line. This guy is absolutely massive. This is definitely the biggest Transformer I have in my collection now. And yeah, he is just awesome. So let's take a closer look at the figure himself. So starting off here with the face sculpt, as you can see, it is the absolutely classic looking G1's Grimlock head there, looking awesome with that metallic blue visor. I absolutely love how that looks, and it catches the light extremely well. Now coming on down here to the chest, I believe they used a really brilliant gold here. And yeah, it looks so good for all the gold parts, like on the chest and on the claws here. It looks so good, and as I said, it catches the light really well. This figure just looks really good in like different lighting situations. You can see, even with my one little lamp I have here, it just catches it so well. And even just turning it a little bit, you can see how it just moves across the gold really nicely there, creating a nice lighting effect, and that just looks so cool. Now some people have complained about this kind of smoky clear piece here that covers the Autobot logo, and yeah, it is a little bit dark for my liking, but it's not terrible. As I said, if you put it in the light, you can still very clearly see the Autobot logo there. But it is kind of weird that they decided to make this so dark, but I don't think it's like a deal breaker by any means. So now let's go down to the chest, the waist here. We get this very nice vibrant red. I just love all these vibrant colorful colors like the red here, and then going down to the legs we get this very nice metallic blue, red, and green, and the blue just catches the light so well, as you can see here. I just absolutely love how that blue looks. The red and green look nice as well, but just something about that blue just really speaks to me. Now taking a look here at the side, you can see the legs are a bit bulky towards the bottom, but it's not terrible. And as you can see, there is a bit of kibble here, but this is, nothing new for Grimlock. He has always had these wings here on the side, so this is perfectly normal, as well as just the dino head just kind of hanging off the back. That's just nothing new either. So, the kibble, well, yeah, it is. Oh, it's clearly right there. It's perfectly normal for the Grimlock. And I'm pretty sure he had this kibble in the actual show itself. So, it's actually so accurate. So, not bad. And taking a look here at the bottom of the feet, you can see nothing really crazy going on. As I said, the feet are a bit bulky. But besides that, man, proportions-wise, this Grimlock looks great. And as I said, I just absolutely love the colors that they went with here. The vibrant red just really pops out, especially against all the gray and the black going on. So yeah, let's get into the articulation very quickly here. So starting off, the head is on a simple ball joint, so we can go up and down, and it can rotate a full 360. Unfortunately, a problem mine has is the head will of course fold into the chest, and because of that, this part will move inside, but for some reason on mine it's really loose here. You can see how easy it is just to go in and out. I try like pushing the chest in to try locking it in, but as you can see, it still just moves very easily. But yeah, it's just a minor issue. It's still, can hold the head up. It's just if you try moving it a little, the hinge part inside there will move with it, but you can just move it back into place. So it's not that big of an issue, but it's still an issue nonetheless. The arms can rotate for 360. They're on these really nice ratchety joints here, and it can go in and out, and it got some really nice detail in the arm area. As you can see there, I really like that detail in there. And I never really talked about all the detail. This figure of course has great surface detail going throughout, like on the chest and on the arms and everywhere else. But getting back to articulation here, the arm can of course bend, but it's a really tight joint in there. but you can see you get a pretty decent bend there. It's definitely more than a 90-degree angle there. And there is some rotation here at the biceps. Now the hands don't really move too much, but they can go in and out. That's for the articulation, because as you can see clearly the hands are just going to fold inside there. The waist can rotate a full 360, as you can see. And now for the leg articulation, it's actually pretty good. So starting off, the legs can go out that much. You get a really decent kick. Going back, you get a really nice range going there. And of course, you get a beautiful spread. As you can see, he can do the full splits. And yeah, that's really good leg articulation. Now, of course, there's also a thigh swivel, and for the leg bend, you get some nice ratchety joints here. And you get about a 90-degree angle. So, you know, the bulky legs do hinder the articulation a little bit, but it's not terrible. And for the feet, you don't really get any like up and down or side to side motion, but you do get a little bit of this hinging action there, and it reveals some nice detail in there when you move the feet to the side like that. So it does have a ankle pivot, which means you can get some nice wide stances like that, as you can see. So that's pretty good. And now getting to the wing parts, is you can move side to side, and it can go up and down. Unfortunately, this is a bit loose on mine. As you can see, if I just shake it, it does just kind of wiggle around everywhere. This wing is not as bad, but this one is definitely loose, and it was like that out of the box. And yeah, that's really about it for articulation, at least in the robot mode. So as I said, really decent, all things considered, especially for how big of a bot this guy is. Still get some decent looking poses, something like this. But yeah, so now let's very quickly get into the accessories. Now, it doesn't come with too much, but what it does come with isn't terrible either. So starting off, let's take a look at his gun. I almost misplaced it, but here's a look at his gun here. As you can see, it's a nice big chunky gun here. There's not really any hollow parts, so that's a good thing. And yeah, I mean, there's really not much to be said. There are some nice details in here. Got these two massive cannons here. And of course, it can be stored or held in the hand, like so. So there you go. It's a very nice solid connection. It's not going to go anywhere. And one thing I wanted to show real fast is on the instructions, it shows that you can store the gun on the back, but I can't figure out for the life of me where it's actually telling me to put it on the instructions. At first I thought that it means just put it in this little hole in here, just to try to match the peg for the handle up with the hole on the side of the dyno head, but the peg is much too big to actually fit into that hole, so it can't fit in there. You can put it into that hole here, but it is a really loose connection. It doesn't really hold in very well, as you can see. But it does have a lot of portholes going throughout, so you can try messing around with, like, yeah, no, it can't fit in there either. So I don't really know. Like, I know there's weapon storage because it says so on the instructions, but I don't really know where you can put this. Like, the pegs seem to be too thick for most of these holes. Oh, okay, there you go. You can fit it here on the side of the arm, but that looks not right. It's not going to fit in there. It doesn't fit in that hole. It can fit in here, but just barely, as you can see. But it can still hold. And it's probably not going to fit any of those holes. So yeah, for weapon storage, I guess the best bet would just be putting it in here or just having it in his hand, which, you know, you're most likely going to have the gun in his hand anyways. So because it's not that big of an issue, it's just kind of weird on the instructions, and I couldn't figure out where it's telling me to put it. But anyways, let's take a look at his other accessory, which is of course none other than Wheelie. Now I know there are a bunch of mixed emotions on this figure because he is basically more of a statue than a figure, just because he doesn't transform and he's kind of stuck in a static pose here. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't mind it, and now I get that a lot of people are upset that they didn't include a fully transformable Wheelie. But honestly, I think if they did, that would have raised the price for this figure, and this was already kind of pricey. This was like, I paid $55 for this, if I remember correctly. So if they included a fully transformable Wheelie, that would have definitely raised the price. And I mean, I'm sure people would have been willing to pay it, but for me, I'm a college student, so I'm not like, don't have that much money. So I understand why they, you know, cut down on this figure a bit. But that being said, it still does look very nice, and it looks really accurate to how he looks in the movie. As you can see, taking a closer look at that face sculpt, it looks really good. And unfortunately, mine does have some paint flaws on the chest, which I didn't notice when I picked this guy up from Target. Go check out my haul video if you want to see what the box and what the insert inside the box looks like and all that good stuff. But yeah, there are some paint flaws there, and on this back of the legs there are some hollow bits here, as you can see, and also in the arms as well. But overall, it's still a nice looking figure, and it does have some articulation. As you can see, it's very basic. It just has some ball joints in the arms, so it can go full 360, go in and out a little bit. There are no elbow joints. The head can rotate a full 360. It's just really tight, and it can go up and down, side to side a little bit. The waist can move a full 360. It's just on a simple ball joints. And for the legs, they can go in and out, and it can go back, not really too much forward. And that's about it for the legs. So yeah, really hindered articulation, but it's more of a static posed figure anyways. So now for storing it on Grimlock himself, as you can see, there is a little peg here, so you can plug it into either one of these holes up here on top of these shoulders. And it's a very, very tight fit, so you're really gonna have to put some pressure in once you get it to line up. Oh, and yeah, that did not sound good. We'll see if I can do this on camera. If not, I'm gonna just have to do this off camera. It'll be a bit easier here. But yeah, there you go. Once you get it in, as you can see, he's in there pretty good. Maybe. I said that, of course, he falls off. Let me just stop this video, and then we'll get him on the shoulder so you'll see what he looks like. So here is what Wheelie looks like on Grimlock's shoulder, and for display purposes, I think this looks very good. So yeah, I don't really have too many complaints here. So that's about it for the accessories. Unfortunately, he doesn't really come with a sword or anything. But I don't think he actually had a sword in the movies anyways, but I know the sword is iconic to this character, so I can kind of understand why people were upset that he doesn't come with a sword. But again, this is still a pretty decent amount of stuff you're getting, especially for such a big figure like this. So now let's get into the transformation. Alright, so I've only actually transformed this guy once before doing this review, so let's see how good my memory is here. So starting off, we're going to start by lifting his arms out, straightening out the arms, and then we're going to just start by folding in the hands. Simple enough, like so. And then we're going to bring out the dino heels here. Next, I already forgot some of the steps. Okay, let's go to the head, and I don't do that way later. Okay, let's focus on the legs here for a bit. So what we're gonna want to do here is we're going to start by unhinging this part out here, and then you're gonna take this part here, fold it down and in. You're gonna basically fold it into the feet like that, and then you're gonna bend the leg all the way in this way. As you can see, it just untabs there. You can just take this and fold it all the way back like so. So do the same thing to the other side. And then basically there's going to be a bunch of tabs here that are going to plug into these holes. So you're just going to line everything up and plug them in like that. Next we're going to come here to the tail parts, and let me see if I remember how this is. Okay, so this is going to fold down like so. As you can see, it's just a double hinge there. And okay, I got it. Let's actually flip it around this way. So this is going to hinge up, and it's going to basically line. You're going to line this part up with this gray plastic piece there. So it should look something like that. So let me do it from this view so you can see it. Just going to bring this, hinge it up, and it'll just line up right there. And then you're going to bring these pieces in like so, and you can see this is going to be forming the tail. And you can see there's a peg here, there's a hole there. You're going to line those up, and there's also another tab that lines up with that hole in there. So you're just going to line everything up, snap it together, and then make sure everything here is also all snapped together like that. And just like that, we are done with the tail here. So next, what we're going to want to do is unhinge this chest piece. Let me see, like that. So this whole area is just going to shift down. You can see just a big hinge joint in there, and then you're basically going to want to line this part up with those little tabs there, and it should just hook into place like that. It should snap into place, and these are basically going to be the dino legs here. And then next, of course, you're going to just hinge the head down. You're going to take these, swivel them up a bit, and then you're just going to bring them down, and you can see it's going to form the dino chest. And when you snap those two pieces together, you get the Autobot logo. And then just going to take his dino hands here, bring them forward. These are really, really tight ball joints, and you just do whatever you want with them. Just post them like that. Then you're going to take this headpiece, bring it down, snap into place, and I think that's about it for the transformation. So yeah, for my second attempt, not bad. And here is Grimlock in the dino mode. And yeah, as you can see, the transformation is pretty easy, all things considered. As I said, that was only my second attempt actually doing it. So it's a pretty easy transformation. It's pretty fun, all things considered. The only issue I have is this tail area doesn't really like to stay plugged in. You can see it kind of unplugs itself really easily, and there's a bit of a gap in there, but it's not too bad. But yeah, this dino mode looks really good. I really am a fan on how this looks. The nice gold hair just really stands out on the neck. As you can see, it just really shines in the light there. You get some nice red striping going down here on the chest, which looks really nice. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much I can say about this dino mode other than it just looks really good. This is probably the best mainline dino mode we've got in years, and this is probably the best we're going to get here for at least a mainline Grimlock. And yeah, this looks really good. Now, one thing you can do is that Shocky reviews pointed out that these legs do look a bit bulky, So if you want, you can take this heel part and fold it in like that. Do the same thing to the other side, and it does make the feet look a bit less bulky. And let me just get the camera down here so you can see. As you can see, it just cleans up the feet a bit better there. And overall, I think it does look a bit better like that. So yeah, that's something you can do. And Shocky Reviews was the one that told me about that. So thanks, Shocky. And yeah, of course, you can just bring the heels back up. I find the heels do help with the stability of the figure. So, and yeah, this tail is kind of massive, so it does kind of have some weight issues, but as you can see, it still stands perfectly fine. Now let's very quickly get into the dino articulation. So the head can go up and down. There is some rotation at the actual neck. The jaw can, of course, open. And if you had some effect parts, you can plug it into a little tab in there. Fortunately, I don't really have any, at least big effect parts that would really fit in there. Now, the little dino arms here are on ball joints, but it's a very, very tight joint. So you can get it to go a full 360 degrees, or you can just pop it off. That's actually never happened to me before. So yeah, that's fine. Let me just see if I can get this back. And hold up, I'm gonna have to do this off camera real fast. Okay, I got it back in. So maybe it can't rotate for 360 unless you want to risk it popping out. But yeah, it's on a simple ball joint. It's just extremely tight, so it can go side to side a little bit, and it can shift up slightly and down slightly. Now for the elbow bend, it can bend at one joint, and you can make it bend both ways if you really wanted to. Now the actual claws don't move. The legs can go basically turn a full 360. It's basically just the arms here, so it has the same amount of mobility as the arms, and including the really, oh my god, come on, tight bend air. There you go. So yeah, you can see really nice bend there at the legs there, or I guess arms in the case of the robot mode. And there's no like foot articulation, and these little claws can just move up and down, as I already mentioned. So yeah, that's about it for the articulation. For the dino mode, there is no movement in the tails. It's just one solid piece. And yeah, so you can still get some pretty decent looking, you know, dino looking poses. Something like this. I don't know. But yeah, it's not terrible, especially for a dinosaur, or in this case a T-Rex. Now, you can store the actual weapon on the body. Basically, as you can see, there are two tabs right there, and you're going to take the gun, and if I remember, okay, there are two holes there, two tabs right here on the gun, and basically you can line them up with those two holes and plug it in. It is a really tight fit, so let's see if I can do this on camera real fast. You know what, let me just take this off camera real fast. So there you go, that is what the gun will look like stored on the back. And of course, you can also put wheelie on Grimlock in the dinosaur mode. So for that, it's very simple. Basically, as you can see here on the sides of the neck, there is a little peg sticking out there. And on the other side there, if you look on the bottom of Wheelie's legs, there's a little hole there in there. So what you're going to want to do is basically line those two little pegs up with the 2 holes on the legs and just plug them in. So actually, let's get them in a seated position first, and straighten this out. Maybe that'll help a bit. And just going to come on, work with me here. Line everything up. You know what? Let me just do this off camera again. I don't want to waste too much time. So there you go. There is what Tweedledee will look like riding on Grimlock. So yeah, let's quickly get into some size comparisons now, and we'll get into my final thoughts on this figure. So starting off with some size comparisons in the Dino mode, here he is with the Leader Class Shockwave. Next, here he is with the Earthrise / Kingdom version of Optimus Prime. Next, here he is with the Netflix Megatron, Earthrise RC, and finally, here he is with a 1:144 scale Gundam. Now we'll do the same comparisons again, this time in the robot mode. So for my closing thoughts, can I recommend this figure? It should be fairly obvious by this point. Yes, of course I can. This is going to be by far the best mainline Grimlock, probably that Hasbro will ever make. This is the peak Hasbro technology here, and it's a really good time to be a Transformers fan. Like, this is getting to be borderline masterpiece quality, and yeah, it is just really, really good. Now, is it perfect? No, of course not. It does have some minor flaws with, for example, this part being a bit loose and the head part wanting to sink in a bit. But besides that, the colors are great. The transformation is fun and easy to do. And while it is admittedly lacking in the accessories, it does still come with a decent amount. And especially with how big this figure is, you're definitely getting your money's worth. So yeah, pick up this figure when you get the chance, and you definitely will not regret it. So anyways, that's what it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on this video. Leave a comment if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And finally, don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well as join the Discord. Oh, and one more thing. Wheelie riding on Grimlock is cool and all, but you want to know what's cooler? Optimus Prime riding on Grimlock. Oh yeah, it doesn't get any better than this.